Now we're going to defeat Kamala Harris. You have to defeat Kamala Harris. More than any other people on earth, Israel, I believe, has to defeat her. You know that? And I've never said this before. I'm thinking, Miriam, more than any people on earth, Israel has to defeat her. I really believe that it's a disaster for Israel.
This is anti-Semitic garbage.
Wow, that is an insane start to this unhinged and pretty anti-Semitic speech. And that is even before you consider the fact that this just happened.
And we just found out an hour ago that the lieutenant governor there, Mark Robinson, who's running for governor,
Never heard of him.
who Donald Trump called Martin Luther King on steroids, posted on a forum called Nude Africa that he's a black Nazi, expressed support for reinstating slavery, and detailed his sexual arousal from memories of peeping on women in public gyms, and he still fantasizes about it. He also has an Ashley Madison account.
How dare you kink shame?
I would say most of the Fox News crowd is the scum of the earth, but even they have to scrape this crap off their shoes from time to time.
I say all the time that any Jewish person that votes for her, especially now, her or the Democrat Party, should have their head examined.
And this, again, is evidence of the type of candidates that Donald Trump thinks are good for the country. Martin Luther King on steroids, someone who says he's a black Nazi.
And while this speech really only gets worse from here, if you can believe it, and as we'll see, this is far from the first time Trump has spouted this kind of anti-Semitic garbage.
Donald Trump says that any Jewish American who votes for Democrats hates their religion and hates Israel. Okay. The 2024 Republican nominee made those comments yesterday during a podcast interview. Take a listen.
Why do the Democrats hate Bibi Netanyahu?
I actually think they hate Israel.
Yes.
I don't think they hate him. I think they hate Israel. Any Jewish person that votes for Democrats hates their religion. They hate everything about Israel, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Gosh, speaking of being ashamed of themselves, my God, here's a guy that runs around and trashes the United States of America every day because he's not president. If you are a Jew and you don't support him, then you hate your religion and you're a bad Jew. This is anti-Semitic garbage.
That was from March of this year, and even during that segment, they pointed out that this wasn't even the first time he'd said it then.
Well,
it's just foul.
You said even if he does it every day, it's not the first time Trump has expressed similar beliefs. In September, he posted on social media on Rosh Hashanah that liberal Jews were voting to, quote, destroy America and Israel. As president, he also said that American Jews were showing, quote, great disloyalty to Israel by voting for Democrats. And in a statement yesterday, Trump's 2024 campaign manager called the Democratic Party, quote, a full-blown anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, pro-terrorist cabal.
Yeah, strong words coming from the idol of groups like the Proud Boys.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
The phrase he used has already been converted into a logo that is making the rounds tonight.
The Proud Boys say they're inspired by President Trump.
The Proud Boys was one of several groups who sponsored this pro-Trump rally.
A disillusioned GOP operative who said the Trump campaign is well aware of the organized participation of Proud Boy rallies merging into Trump events. They don't care.
And the idol of far-right evangelicals who told Christians they'd never have to vote again if he was elected.
Could this be America's last election if Donald Trump wins? Listen to what the former president told a Christian group at the Turning Point USA Believers Summit in West Palm Beach. The former president telling the crowd that if they re-elect him to the White House, they won't have to worry about voting ever again.
And again, Christians, get out and vote. Just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
He said it 3 times.
And when you compare that to this,
any Jewish person that votes for her, especially now, her or the Democrat Party, should have their head examined.
It almost seems like he doesn't care at all about any of these religious groups and will simply say anything to get their vote, even if he may secretly despise them.
It's just so offensive for someone to tell me what it means to be a good Jew. It is just, it's so beyond the pale.
This is something that if any other politician had said before, or if they say after, they would be drummed out of politics. But not Donald Trump. His people, his cult just grows stronger.
And speaking of his growing cult, let's also not forget the time Donald Trump dined with Kanye West during his anti-Semitic era, or far-right white supremacist Nick Fuentes.
Donald Trump facing growing backlash tonight to his dinner last week with prominent white nationalist Nick Fuentes at his private Mar-a-Lago club. Some of the strongest condemnation coming from his former vice president.
President Trump was wrong to give a white nationalist, an anti-Semite, and a Holocaust denier a seat at the table. And I think he should apologize.
Republican politicians and Jewish groups now among those calling out the former president.
I mean, yes, it's appalling. Yes, it's unconscionable. And yes, it's entirely in character for Donald Trump.
The Holocaust-denying podcaster Fuentes arriving at Mar-a-Lago as a guest of rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, himself engulfed in controversy for past anti-Semitic remarks.
And neither of that pair made in hell's remarks have aged well.
Remember this from a year ago.
You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also.
Infamously anti-Semitic online commentator and once Trump ally Nick Fuentes earned backlash online when he said that when his America First movement takes power, non-Christians, quote, they need to be given the death penalty.
There is an occult element at the high levels of society, and specifically among the Jews. So many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They are people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty. Straight up. I'm far more concerned about that than I am about even non-white people or mass migration. These people that are communing with demons and engaging in this sort of witchcraft and stuff, and these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power. This is God's country. This is Jesus's country. This is not the domain of atheists or devil worshippers or perfidious Jews. This is Christ's country.
So when a guy that keeps that kind of company says crap like this?
Bad news, a poll, I just told you how good the polls are, but we need every vote we can get. The current polling has me with Jewish citizens, Jewish people that's supposed to love Israel. After having done all of that, having been the best president, the greatest president by far, a poll just came out, I'm at 40%. That means you got 60% voting for somebody that hates Israel. And I say it's going to happen. It's only because of the Democrat hold or curse on you. You can't let this happen. 40% is not acceptable because we have an election to win.
That is beyond fucking insane. It's anti-Semitic, anti-American, and anti-humanist. Donald Trump holds no allegiance to anyone but himself. And he will openly disparage people to their faces simply for not supporting him. And while telling Jews that don't vote for him that they need to get their head checked, his candidate for governor of North Carolina that he backed and endorsed outed himself on a site as a black Nazi. It cannot be more clear than this, folks. Donald Trump is a demagogic, lying grifter. And we need someone far better than that to run this country.
Now, the Harris for President campaign releasing this statement after the former president's speech tonight, saying, quote, America can do better than the bitter, bizarre, and backward-looking delusions of criminal Donald Trump. Vice President Kamala Harris offers a vision for America's future focused on freedom, opportunity, and security.
Thanks for watching. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you all in the next one.